Good evening and welcome to race number 7 on the Steel Graphics and Design Series season. Your SRN President Jonathan Meyer with you here this evening to bring you 75 laps from the great Pocono Raceway nestled away in the Pocono Mountains. Tonight's race will feature, looks like, 10 drivers. We'll have 3 sets of tires, each racing on a fixed setup. Stated earlier, they go for 75 laps, no planned cautions. It's pure racing action this evening. Timing and scoring currently is not populating, but we will work to try to get that to you at some point during this event. Just do our best to update you on what you're seeing in the meantime. Max Service came away with the pole position. He'll be followed up by Ben Park, Joe Ruggles, Lane Doyle, and Dan Park rounding out the top 5. Kyle Johnson, Troy Techmeyer, Bo Brady, Robert Richardson, David Davis in the field. Pace car comes away to the stage. The field in the hands of Max Service. Green flag is out for 75 laps at Pocono. Turn 4, Max Service will power over Ben Park to lead lap number 1. These two in tight pursuit of each other, which we've seen multiple times over the course of this season. One thing you'll see here at Pocono is with these long straightaways, the draft really effective. You saw it right there. The 17 was able to pull up to the back bumper of the 81. I cared about making the pass right there, but using the draft to stay close with a little bit of bouncing around here a little further back. Kyle Johnson, Bo Brady might have had a little disagreement over space. Kind of slack back in line. That's Dan Park there at the 7. Outside the 8 there. He's going to get that spotted. Like off. Not quite. Isn't able to clear him completely. Part of the track, you don't necessarily want to go too wide if you can help it. Complete difference down here in turn 3. Lots of lanes to work with. Plenty of options available to you. No turn 4 here at Pocono. It is the tricky try zone. And in the straightaways, like we said with the draft, you kind of just want to stay in line if possible. Use that draft to pull by. And the 17 of Ben Park was able to take the lead big on probably off turn 3. That draft down that long front straightaway, the longest of any track at NASCAR. Takes the lead over Max. We'll keep an eye on too. Tire degradation usually at Pocono is something to keep an eye on. Not as impactful as it maybe has been in your past tire models, but still going to be a factor for sure as we go through it. And they only have 3 sets of tires laying in the pits, so I guess 4 if you want to include the ones they start on. You have to be mindful too what your plan is, especially if you get some caution. Now, there's a good chance, especially at Pocono being a larger track, and we usually see this be a trend, not a lot of yellow flags. So kind of almost looks like a race when it comes to strategy. You want to stop as many times as possible and almost work the race backwards. So you kind of want to try to think about coming down pit road when you know you can make it to the end on fuel and kind of work from there. Not necessarily, not saying they'll need all 3 sets of tires, but a couple of yellows in there. Keep our eye on. More gaggle cars back here, further back. We got the teammates there. The 8 of Bo Brady. Looked like the 96 of Joe Ruggles. Kind of putting a few vehicles there. You see Robert Richardson behind him in the 5. Space. Occupying the 5th position. Bo Brady wants a piece of it though. hole they can get down the front stretch. You got a pretty good angle. Oh, Dan gets the wall off of one. He might have been squeezed out of space there. We were watching that. I don't think the 8 was quite clear, but he made sure he cleared himself. That was significant contact. Take another look at it here. Get a little different angle. Turn 1, 8 on the bottom, 7 up top. We're going to come off the corner here. Oh yeah, that's one where there wasn't necessarily contact there that created that. Running him out of room. Back up front, gun park, nice clean racetrack in front of him. Gapped max service by a little over a second now, and then we kind of have a 3-car pack here. Max service, Lane Doyle, Kyle Johnson, all doing her thing right here in the mid. One of the top 5. They spread apart. Brady is the next driver after that gap, and then we find kind of the pack that's the remainder of the field. Dan Clark, Robert, 96 around our 10-car field. The whole top 10, though, however, even though we don't have time this morning, will tell you is within 7 seconds of the racetrack. So, see them all in the same shot right there. They're all still kind of packed together, but just a little bit of separation. See how else over the run. Well, we're going to give you some sights and sounds here. Where we work on timing this screen. So sit back and enjoy the sights and sounds of Xfinity Series cars around. back with you here after long last. Timing and scoring is now up. Meanwhile, we have pit stops happening in the background. Hope you enjoyed the sights and sounds of Pocono action here for the Steel Graphics and Design series. We saw in our background there, Lane Doyle made his pit stop. This time, Bo Brady and David Davis are doing the same, and now Ben Park, who's been up front all night long. He's going to bring that number 17 Toyota Supra down for service. This is a little longer than splitting the race into thirds, but it's pretty on track with what the fuel mileage number would be, so I think the popular strategy this evening is going to be splitting it into thirds or close to that. That'll relay the lead to Kyle Johnson in 88, winner on the season already. Watch him carefully to see if he decides not to come down the road. Now, we did get some onboard time with a couple of the drivers during that crank it up session, if you will, and I heard there was a lot of off-throttle time. So, based on what I know about the fuel data, I think that's going to actually end up giving us a little bit extra room. How many laps you can get on the tank. I wouldn't be surprised if we see these guys especially if they used a little bit of draft there. But Kyle Johnson now has a lead of about 3.5 seconds over service. Kind of just been hanging out right behind these guys all along. Robert Richardson takes a third spot. He's kind of cycled up. Laps have began. Dan Park as well as kind of cycled up. Remember, he still has that damage from getting a little bit of a wall. Earlier race, Troy Techmeyer just behind him. That rounds out your top 5. Joe Ruggles, 6th. The last car has not come down yet for service. And of this, you have back here 7th and 10th, Lane Doyle, Ben Park, Bo Brady, Davis. So you can also see that you can make a pit stop here without going a lap down. Important in the event that maybe a caution comes out pit cycle. Keep an eye on that. So far, though, based on what we've seen tonight, I'd say the chances of yellow flags are going to be pretty low throughout the evening. Thank you again for joining us. Sorry for the hiccup at the start. Slowly getting timing and scoring up, some more overlays back up on a different computer than what we broadcast on. The settings need to be moved around, updated. We got that taken care of now, so we should be good to go the rest of the way. You'll also hear from a couple of our sponsors later this evening, and of course, you'll get to hear from the top 3 finishing drivers at the 75 lap event. Well, on lap 32 right here, and still no sign of Kyle Johnson bringing that 88 down pit road. He'll continue to stay out and lead some laps. Max Servit running here, 2nd position. Just how spread out these guys are now, so kind of had a little bit of time. Richardson. So no more pit stops yet. So after those initial 4 came down, Lane Doyle, Ben Park, Bo Brady, David Davis. 4. We haven't seen pit stops yet. But they're going to be shortly coming here, as we kind of now are starting to get to kind of end of that fuel line, that initial fuel line. Interesting to see if these guys choose to go really hard on their stuff in that middle set. Try to figure out if it's possible that, or the other strategy we haven't really talked about yet. What if we make it swap? Now, I believe you'd have to do a lot of stretching to make that happen, but I guess anything's possible. Ben Park back here, that early. He's battling now with Lane Doyle. Trying to figure out how to get a spot here back on the pit cycle. Remember, Lane's only in front of him here because he was the first driver to come down pit. Not let a lap get tonight, but he was that first driver on pit road, kind of jumping in front of that group. He's taking full advantage of that. Oh, top 3 still choosing to stay out on the racetrack. No signs of them coming down the road yet. That has me thinking a couple more laps here, try to really stretch it. Real possibility it could be done in one stop. Now, you'll probably say, well, that makes a lot of sense. Why wouldn't you? Well, here's the other part of that equation. The lap time difference. So, currently out front, Kyle Johnson is, what was his last lap time? His last lap time was a 57.67. That's what our leader's running. First car on fresh tires is Lane Doyle. Now, black card there. He just ran a 54.67. Oh, rather, a 55.07. So that's 2.5 seconds faster than what the 88 is pacing out front. So, I'm going, huh? That's really fast. Right now, as it sits, Lane Doyle is about 5 seconds behind the leader. So, after the lap, you can average that out. He's definitely going to get there before the end of the run. But remember, then he has to pit again. He has to go back to about 50 seconds back in order to get back up. Watching this, Mr. Ben Park is trying to get back by around. Yet they're still going to be battling off one. We did get to see some really good battles while we were waiting for getting the overlays fixed. Back to the strategy conversation. Kyle Johnson now on pit lane. So lap 37 here. Still a little bit shy, possibly. Let's keep an eye on, see how this is going to shake out. Now, we're talking about that lap time delta. You know, obviously throughout the whole run, it's not going to stay 2.5 seconds a lap. You got to leave that gap for Techmeyer and well, Nebraska. Now, like max service, max not yet, and Marky's not yet. So top 2 still out there on the tires and the original fuel that we started the race with. So these 2 are going to be the guys that I think now have the best chance of the one-stop strategy actually working out. Starts keeping it low out of 3. Yep, to bring it down on pit road. Nice, so aggressive entry. Sideways there, but looks like he's going to get it woed down in plenty of time. We're going to kind of a tricky pit road in a way that the pit speed cone really early. You got to get that thing loaded up in a hurry. Down to pit speed and long pit road here, so a long way to go all the way down to your box. His pit box. We'll get 4 fresh tires, a full tank of fuel. Back out there, Dan Park though chose. I'm going to take another circuit. Now I believe of all the drivers that are going to try to stretch this one stopper, 7's going to be in the best shape of anybody, which not surprising. And usually somebody who likes playing the edge of strategy. Realizes sometimes if he's not running up front, I got to do something different to try to win the race. And good job of making that a possibility. Now, here's the other part of the equation. Brother Ben back here, right behind him, at 17. Remember, he's already stopped, and look how close these 2 run on track. That just gives you an idea how much those tires off pit road, how much time you can make. Mark will bring it down pit road. The cyclist now back completely through this pit cycle. 7 comes off pit road. We'll get an idea on how this is going to shake out. Time the 7 lost. Remember, the 7 does have a little bit of damage. So we get a slight dynamically, but they are data too much. Ben Park will retake the lead over Lane Doyle, and that happened because of the pass we saw before this pit cycle came through. Ben Park, Lane Doyle in front. O'Brady now takes over the 3rd position, and he's kind of in no man's land here. You see on our track map in the top right corner, it's kind of a spot of his own. The car that's behind him there on the track map, not for position, that's where Ruddle was on the lap. Gotta go all the way back to David Davis, who right as the 8 is at the start finish line. Back there, a little lapse in the internets. Live here. Always at the liability of internet, unfortunately, on the great iRacing service. Reloading now, so we'll go back up front. Ben Park. We saw him get past his brother Dan as he was making that pit stop. And that's where the 7 car is now. Look at the track map, you see the difference. 17 just start finish line, 7 into 1. That equates to roughly a 46-second gap, I believe. Correct. Actually, it's going to be a little bit less, 44 seconds. So that gives you an idea of just how much time was lost on extending that out. But remember, 17, 47, 8, they all got to come back down the road again. I believe this 7 car is going to try to go to distance. Right now, if you look at the last lap time, leader Ben Park last time by ran a 55.72. As the 7 crosses the line here, we'll get a good read of what he's running. Get that updates for us. Yeah, 54.96. So about a second quicker right now for the 7, but he's going to take advantage probably of the next 10 laps or so. And the guys who have the 2-stroke strategy really kind of a lot. Now, one thing the 7's got to battle is anybody else that is kind of on that strategy. Service, probably all the way up in the on that same strategy, but he hit it a lap earlier. So, 1 lap. That can make a big difference as far as fuel mileage goes for a long racetrack. 1 lap around can be a lot. Laps in that he joined right now. But he's kind of knifing his way through all these guys around him. Already starting to fall a little bit off on tires. Keeping up with the 88, who's on a similar strategy. The 88 a lap before the 81. So right now, how the progression goes, you have the guys that are going to stop twice, top 3 at least, and then you have Kyle Johnson, Max Service, Dan Park, the guys that are probably going to try to stretch them, but they did 3 separate laps. Let's see how it shakes out. Well, we're going to give this a few seconds to unwind. We'll be right back with you. There are 3 messages you're about to get from our partners here at the Racing Network. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back with you here from Pocono. Ben Park continues to lead over Lane Doyle and Brady. Max Service Kyle Johnson round out your top 5. We have multiple strategies at play here. We got 2 stop, we got 1 stop. A lot to unfold here in the last 30 laps of this event. Again, joining us here on Speed Racing Detailed Graphics Design Series. Series featuring the NASCAR Xfinity car, or will soon be the former NASCAR. Move into a new chapter with these vehicles, the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts. That'll be the new series namesake starting at 6. We'll have to start referring to these vehicles as something else. We can always call them the B car here in iRacing. iRacer can put 2 and 2 together and know what we're talking about there. This is a shorter season for Speed Racing Network and how it's normally done. Just 12 races this season, just all condensed during fall and winter. Include this season before the end of the calendar year 5. We have a spring season that'll run basically from after the holidays until the beginning of summer. That's all currently we have planned for SRN events. Still no details exactly yet on what that next season will look like. Lots of discussions that are going to happen behind the scenes over the next month. Figure out exactly what we want to do there. We want to keep bringing great racing action. Viewers here on YouTube, as well as our partners and of course our family of drivers who love to see grow over the next couple of years. Racing better. That happens. But 10 drivers here tonight, all still running on the racing surface, 2 a lap in arrears. Davis. Kind of just run off the pace as far as what they've been doing on racetracks. No, on the racetrack rather, no incidents to speak of. We've seen a few people there, just like we saw the 11. That time by touched the wall coming out of turn 1, but we've not had any incidents for caution. We've not had any slide with spins. This is going to a good old Pocono strategy race, which was familiar with the track. Did not expect anything less. We saw Ben Park pass Lane Doyle before the conclusion of that pit cycle, and Ben has not let up since. He has continued to grow that lead. Done it in, I would say, a pretty comfortable way. We haven't seen that car really step out on him. We haven't really seen too much trouble in the sense of him pushing too hard. So just going to try to keep it between the lines. Remember, he will have to make another pit stop here. Three drivers we were talking about earlier that are trying to prevent themselves from making another pit stop. The 81 year of Max Service, who's in the 4th position. We hear him clutching it getting into turn 1. That's kind of an important thing to note because hit it on lap 37, and that's telling us that he might not be 100% sure on the ability of him to make it. Clutching is a max fuel saving strategy. The 88 of Kyle Johnson, he's on that same strategy. Remember, he stayed out front, led those 7 laps right after the leaders came in and cycled him up front. He pitted 1 lap there before the 81, so the 81's clutching it into the corner. The 88's got to be somewhat concerned about fuel mileage from his standpoint. Now, the advantage he has, he's got those 2 cars in front of him. He's got draft. He can use that to his advantage to take a little bit of. And Dan Clark back here in 8th. He's the last guy on that strategy, but remember, he has the most fuel in that vehicle because he came down on lap 58. Speaking of the two stoppers, we got two of them on pit road right now. Lane Doyle, Bo Brady. They were both running inside the top four. They come down here for the last stop of the day. Essentially, it looks like these drivers have chosen to split this race into thirds. So that pretty much gives us our two dignified strategies, the one stop and the two stop. So we halfway to thirds. We'll kind of see which strategy prevails. Like I said earlier, this race, a shorter driver count, and what usually happens here at Pocono, not a lot of yellow flags to be had. So, can't really bank on those happening as part of the strategy, so you got to do everything as a driver you can to position yourself to be in the right spot, or at least within grasping distance as we get down the stretch here. See, Lane Doyle completed his service, no issues. Bo Brady likewise. Both got on and off. Mainly Ben Park now our leader. He's in for his final service of the day. This will be 4 tires in 17. Track pretty well ahead of both those drivers as he pitted the very next lap, didn't let him get a lot of advancements. So he's going to come off pit road right in front of 47. It looks like you'll see it pop in the screen here in a moment. The 11, who's just in front of Lane, and 57 right there, so pretty similar gap to where they were at. Get a pit stop, maybe a little bit of gain there by 7. That cycles Max Service to the lead, and this is the first of the drivers who we are thinking could possibly stretch this to the end. The remainders of the drivers on the racetrack are remaining, say, 6 drivers. They pitted on lap 35 or later, so at least give them a fighting chance of making it to the end. But I do like the chances of the 7 car making it the most, considering he pitted on lap 38, and that going to give him a pretty good shot at stretching. The problem now becomes he's only a few seconds in front of his brother. Well, nah, less than that now. And some much fresher tires. So once 17 gets by the 7 here, got to kind of put the 7 strategy out of play. So that kind of take him out of contention for at least the race win. Still has a chance at a good finish. It's going to take him probably out of a winning chance now. So now we turn our eyes on the 81 and 55. Those are the two that pitted latest. Split the race in half strategy. Saw the 81, or heard at least, riding on board. That's a max fuel saving strategy. Down here, if we get a little clutch into, yeah, we do, into turn 3. So same thing, coasting it in on the clutch. Yeah, all the turns here, straight through the clutch, riding in there, max fuel safety 81. He's got nobody in front of him. All the way through the turn 1 there, nobody to use draft to try to save a little bit of fuel. The 88 got the opposite here. He's using the clutch as well. The 88 in 1 lap or the 81. So interesting. Why not hold the 88 to the lap, see if we get it. Clutching the engine on the entry. It'll be nice and easy on that throttle. That will help him save a little bit of fuel, but not the max. Maybe a little bit more confidence, the 88. Ability to make it to the end. Stark difference here on board the 80 versus the turn 1. Using that clutch fairly early and very easy back on the throttle. That tells you all you need to know about it. strategy of saving fuel. Right behind him here, Robert Richardson. We haven't talked much about Robert tonight. That 5 car, he's actually looking inside of the 81. If Robert wants a piece of the lead, he pitted on lap 35. So, as far as the split strategy goes, kind of going to get a little bit of a fuel disadvantage. You're right on board with him to see what he's doing to save fuel, if at all he's trying to save. I mean, we just saw him get around the 81, so that might tell you that he's going for it here. Make a stop with a little bit to go, just take a splash of fuel. Yeah, let's see what's going to get. Clutch. Oh, trouble. We got a caution. Joe Ruggles Jr., his car's come to rest. Looks like in turn 3. A little bit of damage there on the right front. Nobody else involved, but it is going to bring out the yellow. So, well, just when we thought we had the strategy figured out of what was going to happen, forget all that. It's going to come to an end. What's happened to Joey? Ooh. Why the tunnel turn kind of squares up the wall there. So that was the first part of it. It's down here into turn 3. Okay, that was actually 2 laps prior to this. Oh. Oh no. Something happened to the 96. I think that time he hit it hard enough. It might have done some significant damage. I think he's going to get down here in 3. And yeah, there's going to be major suspension problems. He's going to wisely come to a stop up there, which honestly probably not a bad idea because the whole field, as you see, is coming behind him. And we've seen incidents where if you try to cross over on the track under green when that's happening, it could spell disaster. You're looking at what happened the second time. He's not on the throttle, but the car is not turning. This is the first time around we saw him square. Something might have happened there too. I'm not sure. That car just never turned. Unfortunate events here for Mr. Joe Ruggles, an SRN veteran who shows up week in, week out, does a great job. Tonight's not going to go the way he wants it to go, unfortunately. Well, Robert Richardson Jr. had the lead when the caution came out, so he is hanging out behind the pace car right now. And I have to believe everybody will come down pit road and get service here. Remember, they have those 3 sets during the race to use. Some of them have used 2, so everybody still has a set lane in the pits, and everybody will come down to get them. David Davis, the car that stays out on the field, but he is the lucky dog. You see him pass the pace car there. He'll get his lap back. All right, service time for everybody. Assuming to be 4 tires and fuel for all vehicles. It's been probably long enough since those last guys pitted that they're going to want all of that. No pit road penalties on entry. As long as everybody gets off clean, we will be okay. Off pit road here, Robert Richardson. Wow, great pit stop. He's going to come clear out in front of everybody else. And just the field will kind of come out the order that they came into pit road. Position here. 4th place. Brady, Troy Techmeyer, Lane Doyle, you order off the pit lane. Extended the stop for the 7 of Dan Park, but we talked about that damage earlier. Finally has an opportunity now to get that fixed. Good news there for the 7, and after receiving the free pass, David Davis will come down, get his service. That'll leave us with 9 cars on the lead lap and 9 drivers still in contention. Retired from the event as a result of his damage. So we'll take this last chance to step away here. A quick message from our last partner here at Speed Racing Network. We'll be right back. Raceway. Under caution tonight, the first caution of the evening. For just a single car incident involving the 96 of Joe Ruggles, who's retired in this event as a result of those damages. Kind of looks like maybe a tire suspension issue. Something happened to that 96. But that allowed the ninth place car, David Davis, to get back on the lead lap, so that'll reset us here with 9 drivers still in contention. We'll get to restart here, 16 laps to go. Everybody's race here, I mean, everybody's got tires and fuel to make it to the end, so that kind of throws the strategy card out of the window. Which was honestly probably going to be something we were going to really have an entertaining time watching towards the end of this race, but you know, things happen. Strategy changes all the time. That's why I try to play them differently. And they'll put the 5, the 81, the 88, the 17 up front. We've seen Max started on the pole in the 81 today. We've seen the 17 right up front quite a bit. The 88's led 7 laps tonight, so a good pace out of all these drivers up front. Shout out Troy Techmeyer. He's in 6th right now. Had a quiet, clean evening though thus far, but is leaving himself in a position to come out with a good finish tonight. And hell, never know. Might have a shot at the 7 car. He's back up to 7th now after fixing the damage. He's finally had an opportunity to go that. So the pace car will pull away this time by. Field will be in the hands of Robert Richardson in the 5 car, and we'll have 16 laps to go from Pocono to settle it. Green is out. We're back racing. A couple moments off the turn there. Ben got really loose. Looks like the 8 did as well. Lights up front. Max Service, Robert Richard, and Kyle Johnson all want a piece of that lead. Right now, Max is in the best position. Ooh, big wiggle there from Max. It's going on the 88 to get there. Lane Doyle thought about 3 wide. He wrangles it back in. Real tight racing off the corner there. In the 81 and 88. Everybody keeps it clean. Lane Doyle like, I'll take this party 3 wide. He's got momentum. He might pass them both into one. The tight quarters racing into turn 1. When the 88 gets the wall a little bit, everybody kind of gets the wall. And Robert Richardson, love with what he's seeing in his rearview mirror right now. These guys all taking chunks out of the wall, and he's just doing his thing. Clear of 88 for second, for now at least. And intense, really good racing here. Top 5. Gonna lean on him a little bit. Oh, some contact. Oh. Basically just runs the 81 out of racetrack. Always his way to second, but the 88's now clear. Free to go on about his business. Lane Doyle here to pick up the scraps. By the 81 as well. 5 is kind of checked out on this group just a little bit, but enough to do his own thing. Oh, big contact out of the turn 1 wall from the 47. It looks like the 17 got a significant chunk of that as well. That's about Bro Brady into the mix in 3rd right now in that 8. And then Right behind him, you see the 7. Park's up here in the mix. Front 3 and about 4 now, single file battle behind them. And Park up to 4th. The 7 car's got something to say about that. All kinds of jockeying back here. The 7, the 47, the 81. They can't decide what lane they want to be in. If they want to be in the draft. Maybe a little bit of pushing down the straightaway. I'll tell you what, this is Lane Doyle gets the wall again off turn 1. He is kind of all over it. Lose a few spots all the way back to pretty much the back of the pack in 8. Talking about the 81 next service. They're in good position, I thought, on lap that first lap of that restart, taking advantage, getting back up front. He's fallen now. Back to 5th. Which doesn't look like he's got a lot of forward momentum helping him get back up there. Meanwhile, up front, 5 has maintained about a similar lead since the restart. You know, about 0.4 of a second. Lap times here, last time by a 55.01. 54.91 from the 88. Maybe just a little bit quicker. You can attribute that to a little bit of draft. So Brady is slotted into that 3rd position. We talked about it in 7th. Dan Park went on that strategy. We kind of wrote him off because he passed by his brother there on the other strategy. And basically out of a winning chance, but he'd love to see that caution. I don't think he's got to really get that damage fixed and staying early. Didn't run out of racetrack. And how do you count the 7 out yet? Oh, he squares up to 8 and it ends up costing him. That's going to allow Max to get back to his side. This is talk about him. He slides back. So maybe we'll get off the 7. We'll go back up front. Field single file now, about evenly spread apart. Battles back to Lane Doyle since he got the wall a few times. Basically on the inside wall off turn 1. He's gone back to 8th and probably a little bit of damage on it. Techmeyer with a nice pull to the left there off of turn 1. He gets to the inside of the 17 with Glenn Parker. He's going to have that handle. A great pass there by Troy. Nebraska Cornhuskers. Colors and the old school Speed Racing Network logo there above the rear wheels. That's cool. The logo you probably haven't seen. If you've been watching Speed Racing Network for some time, that's a logo you haven't seen in a few years now. Looks like the contingency logo that's on it too. That's from a previous season of Speed Racing Network. Well, the Xfinity series we years ago, so the old speed coming out of the archives rather for Techmeyer. Oh, the 5! We're watching and he is in the wall. Big damage for the 5. Oh, that might be terminal for the race. Oh boy. Well off the pace here. We're going to have to see what happens. We were talking about Troy and all of a sudden we look up and the 5 is defense. Let's see what happened here. Oh, the 80 got to his inside on turn 1 and oh no. Oh no. That's significant. It kind of blocks all the way down. The 88's still going to make the corner, so. Sorry about you. I mean, you could place some blame on either one there, but when you block, you got to be willing to pay what the risk is. And fortunately for the 5, that was the risk. And now making it back down the pit lane and with that right front tire not moving, so that's going to be terminal suspension damage for the 5 who, and was he in position? Ate that for Robert. Back up front, the 88 kind of got momentum cut from that incident. That's allowed Bo Brady to sneak out to the lead. And we could talk about him again now because now he's second. Dan Park, stalking, waiting in the wings. And don't ever count him out. Max Service, he's back up here. Kind of goes warm it there after the first couple laps. Kind of slid back. Maybe just taking a little bit of something. Back up here a little closer now. This race, Kyle Johnson, though. Yeah, you see a little damage a little bit of contact there. You see the nose kind of pushed in there in the middle. Maybe hurt him on speed a little bit. Good. So I guess we talked about Troy. Not too much about Bro Brady. He was a late entrant to the season this season. Really run strong, I would say, since coming in. Battle for second. We saw the 81 just shoot past the 7 there on the corner of the screen. And 7's all over. Wants that position back. I remain on pit road. Thought that was going to be end of day damage for him. Admins have reviewed the incident there, and we're on the same page of what we said. Just throw a block. It's on you to kind of do it safely, and if you don't, you got to be willing to pay the price. Really shaping up to be a good evening for him. I kind of already posted him. Late. 6 to go. O'Brady out front. Max Service second. Dan Park third. These top three have kind of broken away. So barring any other flags that come over the flag man stand, it's not the white flag. This is going to be the 8 trying to break a little draft there. He's going to run a little lower. Last couple times by the 81 fastest car on the racetrack. 55.49s. The 55.72 run by the leader and a 55.71 run by third place. 81's got the pace. But here at Pocono, a pass never comes easy. You kind of got to set it up the corner before. You got to work momentum. You got to work draft. The guy in front of you is breaking the draft like we've seen the 8 do. That kind of plays a factor into it as well. He has a pseudo teammate behind him there. And the 7 is the 7 one to kind of push on him to help him. And the 7 one to take him himself. All those things need to be considered. 5 laps left. That's all the drivers think about is that checkered flag. Right up to the rear bumper is the 81 right there. Look at the outside. The 81 gets the wall. We've seen that a ton tonight. That turn 1 wall on exit. It sneaks up on you. We've seen, I think years back, Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin. You just run at a racetrack right there. Happened right there. Trouble for Ben Park. Way off the pace here. We got a caution. I think the caution was for the 17, but take a look at it here. Oh. 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 Well. We got more action. We got more action. Oh, we got beef. Oh, that's not gonna fly. I'm not gonna explain that to anybody. Getting in a tunnel turn here. Disagreement over space. I wouldn't call that similar to what we saw with the 5. I think tough. The 88's kind of there. Gonna drive him in deep to make the race. I mean, this is what we saw. This is after the yellow. He just junks him. Oh, Sam Hayer, dude. race to Jeb Burton. Yeah, I just can't be having that. It's one of those that not going to go over well. I already tell you, he is he's done for the race. Both the 17 and the 88 have been disqualified from the event. Well, is anybody going to come down pit road? Does anybody have a set of tires left? I know the 7 does. Oh, ooh, a little bit of split strategy here. Okay, okay. So the 8 of Bo Brady stays out. Lane Doyle on the 47 stays out. David Davis and the 11 stay out. I believe this is because they are out of tires. They're kind of just sweeping with the broom they have. Max Service, Dan Park, Troy Techmeyer. Those 3 have a set of tires. Land, they're going to come get them now. We're going to restart. By the time we get this started back, we're going to be in overtime. We're going to have a green light check. We're going to have to do up to 3 attempts. So, I mean, usually you're thinking green, white, checker, 4 tires. Is it worth it? But if you only have 3 cars in front of you and you got a track that's over 2 miles in length, that might just work out. Those drivers that are still out there, they have about 13 laps on the tire. That's significant here at Pocono. 13 laps on the tires is significant. So, from a booth perspective here, I kind of like what the strategy is from the 81, 7, and 32. If you got a set of tires, you can't return them. Might as well burn them. So, yeah. Those 3 are going to set themselves up for, maybe that's your podium right there. Nobody's overly shocked. The 8, the 47, the 11 up here are going to have to play the defense of their lives. Well, that didn't work out great for the 5 car early on. But with 13 laps difference in a set of tires, I think the closing rates on runs will be just a little too hard to block. But what I like about this is you only got 3 cars that stayed out, so came down pit road just now. You're really not going to finish any worse than you would have anyway. Only 6 cars left making circuits after the disqualification of the 88 and the 17. So might as well make it happen. So with the pace car coming around this time, that'll officially put us in green-white checker mode. As said here at Speed Racing Network, we run 3 of those max, and hopefully we only need 1. What that is the flag man will put out the green flag. We'll go back to racing. Next time around, that white flag will come out. Once that white flag comes out, the next flag ends the race. While we're back around, we'll see the checker. What happens on that final lap is the yellow. Yellow comes out, field's frozen. Is, flies, goes out. That's your winner. Thank you again for joining us this evening. We've had a pretty entertaining one. We kind of left you in some silence there getting the overlays set up, but there was really good racing to watch in the background. And sometimes there's nothing better than just ambient sound racing. Sleep to that. Then we came back with you and we talked strategy and we got it yellow and talked more about strategy. Then we had some really good battles on the restart. Saw cars slipping and sliding all over the place. We saw some sponsor logos be tattooed on the outside of the wall in the corner there, and then we just saw some drivers go fisticuffs in virtual world, if you will. And now we have green light checkers. A little bit of all of it tonight. You never know what you might see. A track like Pocono never seems to disappoint. Well, the 6 you see are the 6 that are going to settle it. Bo Brady, Lane Doyle, Max Service, David Davis, Troy Techmeyer, Dan Park. One of these guys is going to bring home the win tonight. Talk to the top 3 finishers at the conclusion here. Pace car is going to pull away the field in the hands of Bo Brady with a green-white checker finish on tap. Here we go. Restart for the 8. He's going to be clear out front. Now the rest of the... Oh, Troy gets turned. He saves it. What a save from the 32. He doesn't quite have it saved yet. And gathers it up. What a damn set. All right, back up front. O'Brady's got the lead. Here comes Max Service in the 81 on the fresh tires. He's got by the 11. Here he goes past the 47. Dan Park in the 7 is going to try to follow him through. And now fresh tires. Looks like at the conclusion of turn 3 should be in second and third place. The 8 now has to do a blocking of his life. Oh, he's going to get crossed over out of 3. Here comes the 81. Contact. 81 gets blocked. Oh, when he turns the 8. He turns the 8. Oh, no. Yellow's going to come out, I believe, on the final lap. Haven't seen the yellow confirmation yet, so we'll just keep riding with it. Dan Park up front. He's got his foot all in. O'Brady, Max Service, they have retired. Only 4 cars still making circuits here. Dan Park, Lane Doyle, David Davis, Troy Techmeyer. Dan Park in the right place at the right time. Man, we wrote him off earlier tonight. The strategy wasn't working. Got passed by his brother. We said, that's it. Caution came out. He came and got the damage fixed. He strapped on 4 tires at the end. And Dan Park is an SRN winner here at Pocono. Will comes home second. David Davis will round out your podium. We'll talk to all 3 of them. Not the circumstances maybe we would have wanted, but man, what a race for driver the number 7 there, Dan Park. Sometimes all you gotta do is be in the right place at the right time. And we need to go back and take a look real quick before we talk to Mr. Park. What happened here? What you saw, blocked by the 8, there was contact. Run that back a little bit. So, block here. Oh, no contact, just block 81. I don't know if he just loses balance of the car and gets crossed up, but catches the 8. And Dan was loving all that. Got it here. Oh. Sneaks on by the slimmest of margins, but it was enough. Well, Dan, burn it down on the front stretch. See Tim Park on the name rail. Father who passed away recently. You see a memory of on the side of that vehicle as well. I believe that is another family member who passed recently. Lots of tough situations going on in the Park Brothers household, but an SRN win will make it feel a little bit better. Finally gets to put father in victory lane, and those familiar Park Brothers racing colors get it done tonight. Well, he's still burning it down. We'll bring him up here to chat in just a second. We're going to let him have this moment. It's been a long time coming. One of our SRN veterans. Year in, year out. He's always here racing. No matter what the car is, what the field is, what the track is. He gets out here and makes it happen. You got to respect that. Just had one go his way tonight. We've seen in the past, unfortunately, for Mr. Park that things don't always go the way he wants. It'll cost him sometimes at the end of the races, but right, not the case. Alright, well, it's time. Let's chat with him. Driver the number 7, Park Brothers Racing Machine, Mr. Dan Park is a winner this evening. Good evening, Dan.
Yep, that's something.
How about that?
That was Interesting.
Well, I always wanted to be in the booth to call a Dan Park SRN victory, and I can say I did tonight, solo. Seas parted in the right way, man. Talk to us about your evening up until that point, because we saw you trying to play the long game strategy. Wasn't really going to work out. Then the caution came out. We know you had some damage you need to get fixed. Talk us through that part of the race, and then the very end there.
I had I had an interesting race. I started off by saving fuel after I got my damage from being put in the wall. So I was like, I'm just gonna go on the fuel save strategy, make it a one stop, which I was able to do. I made it so I could do that, but that end of the race was wild.
Yeah, the
Like,
seas just parted right in front of you there on the front stretch.
yeah, you could say they parted. It was not what I expected to see. It,
Yeah,
from my point of view, it looked like Max was trying to get back behind him and misjudged it. But talking to Max, he was trying to side draft him and misjudged it because he went so far low. He was trying to pull back up next to him, and he figured the 8 would go to the wall and didn't.
yeah, that's kind of
So
what it looked like
they
from our view
they
as
made
well.
really hard contact
Yeah,
right in front of me.
yeah, hard contact that you wouldn't think a side draft was involved, but from what it looked like, from what we saw, he was aggressively trying to get back up behind him. I think really quickly, and these cars on the straightaway kind of darty, and I think it just kind of the weight got shifted, and he wasn't going to be able to stay off them there. And well, I mean, you're not lifting at that point anyway, so both drivers are going to go for a ride. Um, Talk to us a
And
little
then the
bit.
whole situation with my brother, like that was wild behind me. All I heard from
Yeah,
Lane was, "Oh, they're dooring." Oh, Ben's wrecked. I
yeah,
was like, "Wait, what?"
we got to look at that one as well. uh, hey, who knew Pocono could be so entertaining? I always believe this is a great track for entertainment. Tonight proved it
I
to be the
have
case.
I have fun here, but I definitely didn't expect to lead one lap and win the race.
Hey, I mean, Kyle Larson won a championship this weekend without leading a lap in the race. So, hey, what do you know?
I led one lap, win the race, can't complain.
Yeah,
And the team gets one too. I can't. Nothing wrong with that
even
either.
better, even better. It don't matter what happened behind you. Team went 1-2, right? Talk to us a little bit about your season thus far. I mean, you've been having some pretty good finishes. We're over halfway through now. We basically have 2 races until we get to our mini chase format. What are you looking forward to as far as the conclusion of this season?
Being the points leader, I can actually say that for the first time.
That was a good thing.
Yeah, I can actually say I'm the points leader going into the next race.
Hey, in a chase format, that matters.
It
We won't talk
does.
about the
It
NASCAR
definitely
playoffs,
matters.
but
A win matters.
it does. Yes, it does.
So
And the
wins
team,
matter.
the team is doing well.
Yeah, yeah.
That matters too.
Well, it don't help that your team only had one driver show up.
Well, hey, can't let them steal them all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But hey, you are the points leader by let's see here, 7 points after tonight's race, and your team, let's see here, they have a 117-point lead over the team standings. So it's a good night to have the last
Dang.
name Park,
Yeah.
except for Ben maybe. A DQ is going to be a stain on that
That's
one
gonna be
probably.
yeah.
But we'll get it
But
all squared away.
it's bad for Ben. He's got 2 DQs in a row. He got DQ'd last night in early race too.
Hey, you got to tighten that up. Me, your brother.
Yeah.
All right.
I could talk to, but hey, he's not on my team in this league.
Hey, you got a point. You bring up a valid point there. Before
But I don't like seeing him run bad.
that's true. Now you'd rather win. Don't get me wrong. I know that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you don't
It's,
want to see him
it's my
run bad
first
either.
career SRN win, bro.
Yeah.
I'm ecstatic.
Who knew it would be on season 8 in a 10-car field at Pocono, and you only led one
Yeah,
lap.
it's like my 4th season in this league, and I finally get my first win.
And considering we've
I
seen
told
you,
it like I told Emerson, I was going to win this season.
well, and also we've seen you dominate probably tens, if not almost 20 SRN races in history, and just hasn't worked out. Well, tonight it just
Yeah,
worked out.
Arca series is man. I was up front in most of them races,
Yep. Funny how
but
racing giveth and racing taketh away, right? And tonight it gave a
I
little bit.
yeah, I definitely gotta thank Michael Steele for the paints. Like man, and promotion for the league. Like running the league and painting the winning car, there's nothing wrong with that.
I agree. Love that. Love having that. We also got a good look at your name rail tonight, since we had the right paint
Yeah.
loaded and the camera angle really close. Talk to us about that.
My dad's name will be on my cars for cars or trucks. Don't matter when I run. His name is always on the door.
Love that. All right, who else do you have to thank before we let you go?
Well, I gotta thank you guys for you especially for putting on the broadcast in the league. Jim for being there, and then all the people watching, however how many there are, and my teammates, Max and Lane.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna let you go celebrate. I'm sure it's gonna be a joyous evening now for you the rest of the evening, being an SRN winner. But we're gonna talk
It
to your
definitely
teammate.
will be.
That's right.
Yeah,
All right, man. Have a good evening.
you too.
Driving the number 7 winner tonight, Mr. Dan Park. He talked about his teammate being second. Well, that'd be the number 47 of Lane Doyle. We bring him up now. Second place finisher tonight. Lane, a chaotic evening in a lot of ways. Talk to us about how your race went.
I loved the first 2 quarters. I want to wait, 2/3. That's a better fraction. The long run, battling with Park. I don't think I had anything for him, but it was still just a fun battle. I don't know what kind of compound he got from Goodyear, but mine was different, and I'm not happy about that. No, he just had better long run speed, and it was going to be a good battle to the end. Then that caution came out, and I definitely tried to make it exciting on the restart, cutting it 3 wide a few times, but apparently because I didn't take fuel, my car was a lot tighter, and I just clobbered the wall twice, and it was over for me. Had a second chance on the restart, but I was on old tires. I didn't really have much for the rest of the field. But definitely interesting night. Enjoyed the first 2 quarters with the strategy and anything like that. It was fun.
Yeah, we were really watching the strategy there, and the old racer in me wanted to see that play out because that was always something I really enjoyed, is trying to figure out, okay, how many times do you want to pit, what's the delta. Like, for me, that's just fascinating, and I was really paying attention to, Max was clutching it into turn one, all the turns actually, and he was in max save, so you wonder if he was gonna be able to make it. And then you had a couple guys like yourself kind of on that split strategy. And then, of course, a caution throws a wrench and all that, and you just got to go race. And at the end of the day, the compound still got you up to P2, and that might have been of some help with some action in front of you. There's also a little action in front of you after a yellow came out, we heard, or right around you, rather. So you had a pretty entertaining night, and then somehow it just results in a second-place finish. But a second-place finish is A-okay, because you remain in a 3-way tie for third in points. Which
that doesn't shock me. I always manage to find myself in like the most bizarre point ties or like nail biters. So I'm not shocked it's a 3-way tie for third.
Well, all you got to do is make the top 10 and you get a shot at the championship. Because with the last 3 races, it's a chase style championship. So as long as you make it there, you'll be all right. We also talked about this with Dan. Your team has a 117-point lead over the next team as far as team championship goes. So that has to be something you guys are excited about.
Oh yeah. We work well together throughout the entire race. The only time I don't think we worked well tonight was on the restarts, the chaotic restarts. I sent a 3 wide on Daniel. Don't regret it, but definitely feel bad for putting him in that position. But that's just how I drive on restarts. I like making it exciting, and I think he knew that because the second I took a 3, he backed fully out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we work good together as a team. We make each other better during practice, so I'm not shocked to see us doing well.
Yeah.
Throughout the
when you guys
season.
do well, the league does well, and that's what I always say. So, congrats on your second place finish. Who do you have to thank before we let you back to where you reside this evening?
Of course, my team. I just shouted out. You guys for putting on these broadcasts every week. I love the series. I stick around for a reason, and it's just a lot of fun. And of course, my family out in the living room. Probably wishing they had a lot more popcorn for tonight, but all around, love it here. So thank you guys out in the living room, and thank you to my team.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Congrats on your second place finish tonight. We'll see you back next week.
Thank you, thank you.
Lane Doyle, driver the number 47. He comes home second tonight. Well, we got one more driver to talk to. Finished in third spot, driver of the number 11, David Davis, joining us now this evening. Good evening, David. Talk to us about
evening,
your
sir.
race tonight.
I mean, I was fortunate to be there. That's all I'll say. It does not go well. Um, I actually made a mishap speeding on pit road and ended up being a lap down at some point because of that. And unfortunate for Joe's car when he broke, was able to throw a caution, which helped me tremendously, getting the lucky dog and a few unfortunate events after that. I was able to finish third somehow.
Yeah, and we saw you get the lucky dog there on that caution and kind of put you right back in it, and then absolute chaos ensued after that. So sometimes you just got to be in the right spot, right?
I mean, that's all it was. I was just kind of riding along, taking what they were giving me, and yeah, like I said, just happened to somehow finish third. Maybe had a run on the 47, but it wasn't. I mean, last lap, I didn't have that big of a run to really try and force it, so I was content with where I finished.
Yeah, man, absolutely. You got to take what you get. Well, interesting with tonight's finish, it actually boosts you up 3 spots in points, but actually puts you in a
Oh,
three-way tie
perfect.
for third place in
Okay,
points.
yeah.
So
Once again, I'll take it.
there's a lot going on there, but all you got to be is in the top 10, and then we have our chase. That's the last 3 races of the season. So, you're
Oh,
pretty
perfect.
secure up in that spot. Kind of got a 40-point cushion on that. And obviously we have plenty of races before we get there, but
Yeah.
the chase ends up being Charlotte, Dover, Homestead. So as we look forward, what's your outlook for those races?
Anything flat track, I seem to struggle on. I mean, there's a lot of fast guys in here. If you give me a bank and something with some distance and some good drafting, I can hang with them pretty well. But on some tighter courses, I be honest with you, I struggle keeping up with some of these guys. So um, probably gonna pray on those events that we can make the right moves and kind of stick where we need to be to get a good finish.
Sounds like a plan, man. Well, from shotgun on the field to third place, good finish tonight. Who you have to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, racetraileraccessories.com for sponsoring the car. Thankful for them, for Fleet Doctor, FT50K. So you got Robert. Unfortunate what happened to him. He ended up getting spun out leading. I know he was going to get a good finish, but yeah, just thank those guys, and we'll look forward to next weekend.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you then. Congrats on your third place finish.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Driver the number 11, David Davis. Brings it home P3 tonight. That'll conclude our post-race interviews. Let's get you some finishing results, shall we? Now that overlays work, we can do this properly. Hey, how about that? Dan Park comes home your winner. Lane Doyle in second. David Davis third. Those are the 3 drivers we just talked to. Troy Techmeyer with a good race here tonight comes home fourth. Bro Brady rounds out your top 5. Robert Richardson, we saw significant damage. Unfortunately for him, retired from this event early, comes home 6th. Joe Ruggles, the same. Max Service, we saw in that last lap incident, which I think resulted in a DQ, and that's why you see him drop from the 5th, 6th spot down to 8th. And then our other 2 DQs tonight after incident, Kyle Johnson and Ben Park round out your field. So, short field here tonight, but no shortage of action. That's for darn sure. Next week, we find ourselves on another flatter track, but a whole lot shorter distance at Richmond Raceway. Make sure you join us there for 175 laps of SRN racing action. Same time, same place next week. I'd like to thank all of our partners here at Speed Racing Network. You heard messages from them during the breaks. You can go to speedracingnetwork.com, learn more about each of those partners. Look at some of the coupon codes we have that you can save with your purchases with them, and we'd like to thank all of them for their support, and would like to offer the extension for new sponsors to come in. If you're willing to partner with us and want to showcase your brand, we'd love to have you. You can get in touch with us at speedracingnetwork.com or any of our social media outlets. Speaking of social media, you can follow all of our social media accounts at Speed Racing Network to keep up to date on what announcements are coming through as far as series and events, but then also follow along as races happen. And of course, you can watch all of the action here on the Speed Racing Network YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us tonight. Your winner tonight, Mr. Dan Park, finally gets it done in an SRN event. He is victorious. We'll see you next week at Richmond.